Disclaimer. I have not read the Bridgerton books. I've only seen the show. I don't know whether the books reveal the identity of the second Lady Whistledown, or even have a second Lady Whistledown. I'm only coming at this with the knowledge from the Bridgerton Netflix series. Disclaimer number 2. I am by no means an expert on media analysis. I enjoy watching media analysis videos on YouTube, and because of that, I've sort of picked up the habit of searching for hints within shows as to where plot lines are going. This is my first analysis video, and it's just for fun. So recently, one of my close friends and I watched the second half of Bridgerton Season 4 together, and thoroughly enjoyed it. I found Sophie and Benedict's love story compelling, and the antics of them getting together charming and entertaining. The new season felt exciting, and it concluded by dropping an equally exciting reveal: a new Lady Whistledown. Or at the very least, a new gossip writer within the Ton, ready to strike up a new era. As soon as this was revealed, my friend turned to me and said, "It has to be Eloise, right?" Right? I think there's a few characters that we can rule out easily, since it just wouldn't make sense, such as any of the Bridgerton men. Anthony has been off with Kate, only having just returned to the Ton. Benedict has his hands full this season with Sophie, and also just generally has a distaste for society. And Colin, the only one of them who's actually a writer, would never keep a secret like this from Penelope. It also can't be Kate, as she's just had a baby and hasn't been around the Ton lately, or Francesca, since she's been mourning the death of her husband and is generally disinterested in gossip. It also can't be Sophie, as she's had way too much to deal with this season to become a gossip writer. And finally, we know it can't be Penelope, as she made it clear that she's stepping back from being Lady Whistledown, and she wouldn't lie to Colin about that. Now, let's move on to the characters that I think it actually could be. I'm going to go through each one, explain why it could be them, but why I ultimately don't think it is. Then we'll finish off with the character I think it actually is. Lady Danbury. Lady Danbury was my pick for Lady Whistledown back in Season 1, before the reveal that it was Pen. She's very well connected in the Ton, and therefore knows a lot of the gossip, but it seems like her character is being phased out because she's moving away, and I don't think she's going to be appearing next season, so I ultimately don't think it's her. Cressida. Cressida certainly has the resources to print her own column, and thanks to her new rich husband, she's now very well connected within the Ton. However, since she already pretended to be Lady Whistledown once, I think it would be lazy writing to do it again. Plus, it was established that she can't write very well. Lady Bridgerton. For a moment, I thought it could be Lady Bridgerton, because her arc this season has led her to wanting to rediscover her wild side. Maybe she could do that by becoming an anonymous gossip writer. However, above all else, Violet cares deeply for her family, and I don't think she would do anything to risk bringing scandal to them, especially as it seems that Hyacinth will be debuting on the marriage market soon. Speaking of which, Hyacinth. Bright-eyed and eager, Hyacinth is obsessed with society and has always loved reading about it through Whistledown. I could easily see her wanting to write a gossip column, just like her sister-in-law Penelope, and using it as a way to talk about society and the Ton. However, because Hyacinth hasn't debuted yet, she wouldn't have access to society events, which would be crucial for her to collect information to write about. I also can't envision a world in which she's able to sneak off to get a pamphlet printed, without Violet or one of her siblings noticing. But I wouldn't count her out entirely, especially now that she knows how to disguise herself as a maid. If my top pick isn't Lady Whistledown, then I'd probably suspect Hyacinth next. The Queen. Now that Penelope has stepped back from her role as Lady Whistledown, the Queen is left without an adversary. Could she be trying to fill that void and stir up more gossip by taking up the mantle herself? Well, I don't think so. The Queen wants someone to play off of, someone to catch. It wouldn't be fun for her if she was a gossip writer herself. And while she is extremely powerful, she's also disconnected from the Ton, raised on a pedestal so high that gossip is mostly brought to her, not discovered by her. Honestly, she's only on this list because she's a powerful woman within the show, and I think people could suspect her for just that. Eloise. When my friend first turned to me and said, "It has to be Eloise, right?" I responded with, "Yeah, I think so." But then about 10 seconds later, I began to doubt that. Eloise has shown more interest in society this season, and I think that she is being set up to potentially fall in love next season or find another purpose for herself within society. This newer interest could translate to writing a gossip column about society and those within, but I really don't think that it is Eloise. In fact, I'm almost certain it's not. Eloise and Penelope have finally rekindled their close friendship, and I just can't see Eloise risking that or trying to take over a mantle that Penelope has only just stepped away from. Not to mention that this would be a pretty dramatic direction to take her character. Eloise has shown more interest in society, but I just can't see her taking up a role like a gossip writer. So who do I actually think it is? Well, I'm fairly certain that the new Lady Whistledown is none other than Alice Mondridge, friend of Lady Bridgerton and Lady Danbury, and most importantly, new lady's maid to the Queen. She's just come into an incredible position of power, and therefore has excellent reason to try and keep the Queen happy and entertained. But the main element for me, the main reason I started to suspect her of being the new Lady Whistledown, is because of the conversation between her and her husband this season, in which she expressed that she felt she wasn't making enough meaningful change or doing anything interesting in her new role serving the Queen. She's searching for a way to broaden her influence. Plus, because her and her husband are new to the noble class, it would be less likely that anyone would suspect her. Everyone seems to have their arc set up for what they're going to be doing next season except for Lady Mondridge. I can't think of what they'd do with her character otherwise, besides continuing to quietly help the Queen. I think that her being the new Lady Whistledown makes sense for her character and gives her something to do next season. So that's my review on who I think the next Lady Whistledown will be. But who knows, I could be wrong. I wasn't able to predict that it was Pen when I first started watching the show, but hopefully I've gotten better at predicting outcomes. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Thank you so much for watching if you've gotten this far. I hope you have a good day.